Howdy y'all, DJTJ here, RollToWound.com. In this Age of Sigmar tournament battle report, I'll be taking 2,000 points of Soulblight Gravelord to Atomic Hobby Shop in Cypress, Texas. This is be a 1-day, 3-round tournament. So, let's see how I do. Alright, so this is my last single-day tournament before I head to the GT in Austin, and I've played around with Soulblight for a good, a good while. I've played him forever, but I've really focused on him here in the last month or so, trying to refine him, trying to build a list that I really like and enjoy playing. It's got a lot of tactical uses, and I think I've done that. The one criticism, the easy criticism is, a lot of people point to is like, why do you take the Mega? It has no synergy. Well, to be honest, I like the model. It does some things that Soulblight doesn't. It does have a lot. It has Rend 3 attacks. It has 3 damage. It is rather tanky. It's a huge distraction corn effects. So, it does have its uses. Could there be a better build without it? Yeah, I think so. I think you could take him out and throw in another battle line and throw in Manfred, or you could go 1,000 different directions with that 500 points. So do I think this is the most competitive list I've ever put together? Definitely not. Is this list challenging to play? I think it is. I think it is. It's pushing me to be a better player because um, this list doesn't do one thing super well, but it has a lot of tools in the toolbox. So it's forcing me to be a better player, and I have to play better if I want to win with this list. That being said, I'll have some timestamps in the description so you guys can skip on through. I'll be going over the list in pretty good detail and my thought processes on that. Please feel free to leave in the comments your critiques, your questions. Let me know what you think about it. What would you change? What tactics would you use as we go through this little battle report? So here we go. Alright guys, so we have the list looking a lot better than the last time you saw it. I've got pretty much everything painted except for the Blood Knights, and they're about 25% done. So, I got 1 week just about to get them ready, and hopefully everything goes good. I'll get them. So starting off, we have Soulblight Gravelords, Lineage, the Vikros Dynasty, Mortaran Shaish, Prize Sorcery, and the reason I picked Prize Sorcery is I've got 3 casters. I feel that it's a little bit on odds. Maybe they'll stay alive longer than my battle lines, so that's the reason I went with that. But in this list, it's kind of hard to choose. So let me start by saying I have a Warlord and a Hunters of the Heartland. That's the big change in the list since the last time we've seen it. I've went away from the 4 drops, went up to 9. Of course, I could probably drop that down. I could probably try to fit 3 battalions in here. We would see. But in the Warlord, I have Big Drog. He's there for the damage output. He only counts as 5 models, but he is a giant. He has a lot of wounds. He hits really hard, and he is a super giant distraction Carnifex. So he's done what he's supposed to in a couple games, and a couple games he has not. So we're taking him again to see what happens. Next, we're going down to the Vengorian Lord, which I have converted. He has the wings from Crypt Flayers, the torso, head, and arms of a Vengorian Lord, and the legs from an Avatar Arcane. I think it came out pretty well. I do like that setup. He looks like just a giant vampire with giant wings just walking around. He is the general. Command trait, Kin of the Wolf. He's going to be able to pop out 5 more wolves. I find that's pretty helpful for screening. And if I needed to pop him out first turn, just give Belladonna some extra wound shrugs. We can do that as well. Take an artifact of Arcane Tome. Vikros, they get to reroll, and it's just sort of like there's not a lot of good artifacts in Vikros. There's a ton of good command traits, but the artifacts, I'm sort of like, I could take this, I could take that. I think the Arcane Tome is really good, giving him an extra spell. So much more versatility, especially because he's already getting the rerolls for it. Lore of the Vampires, I'm taking Pinions. Pinions is probably one of the best Lore of the Vampire spells, if not the best. Just the extra move on these guys is so incredibly good. Just having the ability to give an extra 6 inches, and if I need to run him, that's an extra 12 inches. So you can't counter it because it's a spell, but it is very handy to make things a lot more versatile on the battlefield. And for his second spell, using the spell lore, I have taken Flaming Weapon. Sort of debated this a lot, and this is one thing that I might change out for something else, but man, Flaming Weapon, it gives an extra, if you put it on the sword, that's an extra possible potential 4 extra wounds. And just looking at everything, there might be something better depending on matchups, but since you're going to GT, you don't know matchups. Flaming Weapons also has a low casting, so if I feel that I'm going to put him in combat, having a couple extra wounds here and there is probably handy. So we'll see how that works out. Next, we're going to have Belladonna. Belladonna has Lore of the Vampires Pinions. Once again, Pinions is a really good spell. I put it on her because if I decide to do some kind of alpha strike with the wolves, using her 6-inch pile-in to lock a unit down or lock a shooting unit down, with the Pinions, she can actually keep up with them pretty well, give her bubble, provide her bonuses, or I can use that to help her get out of trouble or take objectives. She's decently fast, so that just adds to it. With the spell lore, I gave her also Amaranthian Orb. I really debated on the spell for her, and I probably won't be casting Amaranthian Orb. She has 2 really good Warlord War Scroll spells, but with Amaranthian Orb, it's like, well, maybe I'm in a position I need to do mortal wounds to a couple of units, and it just works out. With the Locust of Shaiish, you roll high enough, you get a double cast on it, so you have the potential to do 6 mortal wounds, and I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't build a list around it. It's just more there saying, okay, if we get in the right situation, let's do it, because that is the one thing that I would like to see more in this list is some mortal wounds, so that's where we're going. Finally, we have my little converted Vampire Lord, and she's taking Pinions also to keep up, to get out of trouble. Mainly, the Vampire Lord is here to buff the Graveguard or buff another unit. I mean, she can do a little work, but at the end of the day, she's a buff piece, so I want her to be able to keep up. And I've given her Spirit Gale. If you look back at some of the channel, and my opinion of Spirit Gale is kind of low. I've done some math, and I've thought about it, and I don't think it's good for every situation. However, she's only getting 1 cast a turn, and most of the time I'll be Mystic Shield, I would be Pinions. This gives me the option, if I'm playing an army with a low bravery, that maybe that spell it looks pretty good because maybe they're next to Graveguard. Maybe they're a -2 because they're next to zombies and Graveguard. And maybe they're an elite unit that has a low bravery. Maybe that starts looking nice. The Locust, maybe you roll a high casting cost and you can do 3 or 4 mortal wounds to a unit. I wouldn't say that I would build a list around it or I bank on it. Just more the fact that I'm trying it out to see how I like it. I might switch it out for something else, but at this point, I think I want to see what Spirit Gale can do in a tournament format. Alright, going on to the Blood Knights. Blood Knights are still here to add me a little speed. In a perfect world, I think that I can use them to run along with the Mega and to support them, or you can run them on a totally opposite flank. They're pretty self-sufficient. They're way better when they're buffed. However, it's they're kind of scary. They can do what they do long as they don't run into mortal wounds. I think is the biggest deal there. And they performed adequately well. I think that having 1 unit of Blood Knights in any Soulblight list is good. When you get to your 2nd and 3rd, that's when you really got to start synergizing with them. But 1 unit, I think they add a little speed, they add a little hitting power, they add a little, they do what they do well. So we're going to continue on with them, and the models are really nice too. So I like that. 10 for Battalion, we got the unit of dogs. They're mostly going to be there to screen and stay next to Belladonna to give her some wound shrugs. And you know, the tricky stuff that you can do with a 6-inch pile-in, we can run them across the board, do a first turn charge. We can, you know, I would send them in to soak up an Overwatch if the Giant or the Blood Knights were also close and I wanted to charge them in. So they're there as a fast battle line. They're a very solid unit to take, especially with Belladonna. Also, we have 2 units of 2 units of zombies. That is just your fodder. You can put them in a grave. You can bubble wrap yourself. They're there just to be bodies in the way. And the heaviest hitting unit in the whole list is the 20 Grave Guard. I have several different ways to buff them, and being in Vicros, they get a +1 to wound if I'm in range. I can give them an extra attack with the Vampire Lord. So there's different ways to buff them there. They're in the list to kill stuff. They can do that a couple ways. If you buff them, I have put them in the grave and sent them off by themselves a few times, and 20 Grave Guard just unbuffed by themselves. They will kill whatever they touch just about anyway, but if you buff them and you play them right, they can knock out a giant in 1 turn. So that's kind of why they're there. So for Hunters of the Heartland Battalion, I am running the Dire Wolves, the Blood Knights, and the Grave Guard. Just because I feel that I do not want them guys getting roared. Because if I need to give them some kind of command ability, I want that to be able, especially with the Vampire, I want them to get the extra attack. So that's sort of why I've chosen this, going with a higher drop as opposed to a lower drop. There we have it. We're going to see how this does. Hopefully it does adequately, and I get at least 2 wins. Two confident wins is what I'm hoping for tomorrow. 2 confident wins. You know, if we lose to a superior list, superior player, that's what's going to happen. But I'd like to play 2 good, solid games. That's what I'm shooting for tomorrow. All right, game 1. We are playing
Me again.
Andrew. So I got Ringer again. He's changed his Stormcast list up some. I think this is looking. It's pretty scary. It hits hard. We're playing Veins, so I've deployed here and got 1 unit of zombies in the grave. He's got his line of meat in Azurite over there. So who's got first turn?
You got first turn.
I got first turn. No objectives on the board yet, so I guess it's just shuffle and do a battle tactic. All right, my turn went pretty simple. I took Ferocious Advance. He gave me the first turn. I pretty much just pushed everybody up. Mystic Shield on the Giant, Lycan Curse and Pinions on Bella. I put Metamorphosis on the Little Vampire, so I could get the extra point for running 3 monsters next to each other. And everybody just shuffled up, and that's pretty much it. Scored 3 points. And going into Stormcast Turn 1.
Which is more than I could. Yeah, we got the Lantern and Blades on them, so +1 to wound, +1 save. Ran those 3 there for the battle tactic. Failed 2 charges. Had a good time.
Yeah, you killed 4 wolves and 2 zombies.
Yeah, you're right. I did shoot some wolves and killed 2 zombies. Big whoop.
All right, roll off for turn 2. There you go. You got it.
Oh, I got it.
Well, unless you roll
no,
off.
actually, yeah. You would win ties if I rolled a 1, but I got 6.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. So
Cool.
there we go.
it.
Yep, of course. What happened during your double turn, sir?
Pretty good stuff. I got Blades off. Mystic Shield failed again, but I got the Lantern on them, so they're +1 wound and save again. Broken ranks on the zombies that were there. Yeah, almost shot them off. Had 3 left, so I had to kill them in melee, which I did. Killed 14 Grave Guard with those 2 dudes, so not bad. I got the charge off over here, killed one guy on the charge with the mortal wounds, and then kind of just slap fight going on. Objective came here, Vindictors aren't there, a lot of wounds, all that good stuff. We're worried about Giant, but that's 4 points overall for that, so I'm at 6. That's what I got.
Yep. So going into my turn, see what I can do. All right, so that turn could have been a lot better for me. Basically, after we assessed everything for battle tactics, I had very, very few options and pretty much nothing guaranteed. So I went to take out his concussors, right? That was because they are battle line, and I basically piled the whole army in on them. And I wanted to go with the Giant first to get an extra command point between the charges, everything. He still has 2 wounds left on one model. Really what the big swing was when the Giant went to attack on the wound, which was a 2-up, 10 attacks, he hit with all his attacks, and then I rolled 5 ones for the wound, and then you saved a couple. It was not the best roll for me. So I ended up scoring no points that turn because I still don't hold that objective over there. Now is the roll off.
Actually, so
Go ahead.
before we roll off, let's find out where the other objectives. I'll roll for mine, you roll for yours. Mine will be probably in the middle, I guess. Let's look at we both have 8.
All right, we're going to check this out. So we rolled 4s. He breaks the tie, and it's going to him. So we'll see. All 3 objectives came down on this side right now. I really would have been beautiful to get that double turn. Oh, I'm actually going to roll to see if my zombies that you killed come back. I didn't kill a unit this turn, so on a 1 doesn't get it. So yeah, this is a pretty, man, my dice have been pretty subpar this game, man. All right, so let's go.
7, 8 for the objective for battle tactic. So
yeah, so not the best turn happened right there. Just once again, just rolling, falling flat. I didn't kill. I got 2 wounds left on Vandus from the Giant. I did manage to save one knight with 1 wound left, but just rolling is just really subpar for me right now, and he's just sort of mowing through me. I will roll right now to see if I bring back that unit of zombies. Do not. I have still not killed a unit yet. Still have not. So yay.
3, 4, 5 for the tactic. Right?
Yep. So this turn didn't go as good either. We're pretty much out of time. Basically, I didn't even kill with all my army. I don't even know what's happening right now. I cannot kill anything.
Kill Vandus, man.
Yeah, I killed Vandus. I dropped a rock on him. Flaming weapon here. I took Monsters Takeover to take this point, and that was the only pretty much mostly guaranteed. And notice the Vengorn Lord only has 3 wounds left. I was able to push these guys across and put Under a Killing Moon on them, but I didn't do but 1 wound to those guys.
I made my saves.
Yeah, there was a lot of saves being made. Pretty much just I did Lycan Curse here and kill 1, and I was able to lock those down with a wolf. But yeah, it's too far gone right now. So this is going to be a loss. Let's see who wins the roll off. 6-6, and you went first, so he's going to take it again.
Yeah.
All right, so Andrew sort of went through his turn, and his was trying to kill the Vengorian Lord. That was his battle tactic, is killing my general, and failed it. I went ahead and did my turn, and we really just talked it out. I was doing aggressive expansion, right?
Savage Spearhead.
Savage Spearhead, yeah. So, and I had range to basically auto-run him, get Bella over there.
No, so you could have done the aggressive expansion, and you would have had those 2 anyway. So that's easier than run.
Yeah.
So you got it anyway.
Yep.
It doesn't change anything, but that would have been an easier one to do.
True. All right, and then we just sort of talked it out. It ends up being a draw. So yeah, that's. I don't know what to say. I think it was a lot of roll swings there. I felt really. Well, gosh, I needed to win a double turn at some point.
Yeah, I maintaining the turn was good for me.
So that was the game. I'll take a draw. Going from the snatching the draw from the jaws of defeat, I'll take it. So yeah, a good game, Andrew.
Good game.
Nicely played. I think our plays were fine. I don't think that was out of bounds.
There were some rolls. There were some rolls that you rolled the dice and the dice said no. So. On several occasions.
And I think your saves were pretty solid too. I mean, like always, I always see those atomic dice come up 6s for all your saves. This is all the time.
Pretty green symbols, man. I don't know.
But all in all, fine. I'm okay. I think tactics-wise it's good. I didn't mess too much up. So going on to game 2. All right, so there you have my game number 1. As far as tactics goes, I think me and Andrew played. Andrew's a really good player. He's always a top table player. He runs a lot of the tournaments in Houston, and he knows what he's doing.
My tactics wise, I don't feel I made too many large mistakes. I think I played it pretty well. Talking out battle tactics, what's the highest percentage and different things like that. However, if you heard the video and these were just cut ups, I kept being like exasperated with my dice because it was one of those games where you just kept going, wow, that was way out of odds. And it was at times when I was rolling 10 dice and 6 and 7 ones and twos would come up and you'd go, okay, that's not cool, And this game is a game of odds, it's a game of averages. So as we go through this, hopefully next weekend my dice have corrected themselves and I've got all my battle rolls out on this tournament. But still, Andrew's a great opponent. Always fun to play him. Nice to play Stormcast again, just to get more feel for how they operate and work, because I think we're going to see them in a competitive setting more and more and more. There's more people starting to play Stormcast, bringing out their old models, especially with the starter kits. So getting used to playing Stormcast, knowing their strengths and weaknesses is very helpful. All right, we're moving into game number 2. All right, I'm here with Brandon. This is Brandon over here with a Stormcast. Game 2, we're playing Tectonic Interference. His list will be online. So he is a 1-drop. We're sort of spread out here. We need to roll. Go ahead and roll to see which one is the prime objective. 1, 2 from your side. So
that one right or?
Yeah. Sorry, we were just getting the point. So there is the prime objective. Who is going first, sir?
You are.
I'm going first, so Soulblight Turn 1. See what I can do. Real quick turn run. I basically ran the entire army up. I took all 3 of the points. I got my battle tactic was to run with the two monsters and the zombies. I wish I'd had another hero closer, but sort of sacrificed that just for having my hero buff spread out. Mystic Shield got up and Pinions got up, and really that was the only, and I miscast with Belladonna off a reroll, so she took 1 mortal wound, and we're going into Stormcast Turn 1. All right.
And 5 or 6?
I'm at 6. You scored 4. You were able to take the middle point, and you took Conquer as your battle tactic and got it. You took put a wound or 2 on the Blood Knights, and what else you want to do? You want to go? What else? Made the charge over here, wiped out the zombies, and put 17 wounds. That was the big thing. Bastion put 12 mortal wounds on my giant with his ability to roll against his wound profile. And it was so right now the giant has 17 wounds on him between that and the roars from the fulminators. The fulminators wiped the zombies, and I was able to pile in with both the Vangorian Lord and the giant. However, the giant once again rolled a bunch of 1s to wound on his flail. No wounds were put here and no wounds were put there. So he killed a unit of zombies and probably 6 more from shooting and stuff. So now we're going into the roll off to go to turn 2. Well, actually, the objective's going to move first, so go ahead and roll that objective.
Alrighty.
Stays in the same spot, and now we roll to see who goes first. 6. All right, I'm probably going to take it, so Bastion doesn't get the ability to go ahead and finish my giant at this point. All right, so Soulblight Turn 2.
I don't think anyone else is in range, so that's it.
All right, so here's what it looks like. Not a great turn for me. I did kill the Fulminators off, like barely, by pretty much to the wound, but I would have had a Vangorian Lord activation. Where I screwed up is I took Monster's Takeover here. Totally, 100% forgot. This guy's a monster, didn't think about it, so I was not able to achieve that battle tactic because he's still contesting it, and I wasn't in range to do anything there. So 100% misplay on my part.
really just got Under the Killing Moon off, Flaming Weapon, Mystic Shield. I did Finest Hour over here just in case, because my rolling is still not good. I even changed out dice. And then the Blood Knights just pushed up. They ran up the side. Everybody ran up in the center to take the points. So I'm taking all 3 of the points. However, I did not get my tactical objective, which is pretty huge. All right, moving into Stormcast Turn 2. All right, so a bunch of slap fighting going on over here. I still hold that point. He charged in here, killed a couple wolves, took that point. His battle tactic was to destroy the zombie screen. He did that. Got in, and the Graveguard activated, and I had Under Killing Moon, and I was able to give him the extra, the bonus attack from the Vampire Lord. So 3s and 3s with Vicros, and I put 2 wounds on Vandus and 1 wound on Vandus and 2 wounds on Bastion. Bastion just healed it because he killed a guy, and I killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only killed 5 of his Vindicators, and was very surprised, like extremely surprised over that poor. It wasn't, it was a little slightly under average rolling, and he made some saves. It was just, I thought that I would end up wiping at least one of those units. There was a ton of attacks and a ton of buffs coming through. So right now, we are going, go ahead and roll to see where the primary objective goes. And it's going to the center, which was probably the worst one it could have went to me. And now we're going to roll to see who's got priority. And it's a 4-1, and I've got to take it, or I won't have much left on the board if I don't. All right. Real quick. So we ended up running out of time. We ended up talking it out, and it really came down to if the Giant or the Vangorian Lord could kill his general, I would end up winning by 1 point. We discussed all the battle taxes we could do. Really, it just came down to that right there. The Graveguard, horrible turn, but once we got to that, winning the roll-off for me pretty much saved the game. So we're picking up quick and going into the final round now.
All right, so I drew both Stormcast lists right in a row. First time I ever got to play Brandon, a very nice guy. He's got a nice theme to his army. He's got some converted models in there. He's doing head swaps, and it looks really cool. So his Stormcast is coming along fine. I wasn't overly confident in this match because I'd just come off a match with Stormcast and sort of started really feeling how resilient they were. But at the same time, I was like, okay, the mission is not necessarily against me. So, let's play it out, see what happens. I feel that I made one huge mistake on my tactical objective going into that turn 2, picking the monster's takeover, and just totally I don't know if I didn't realize it. I didn't think it was a monster. I thought he was further out than he was, or if I don't know what the case was, but he had a monster sitting there, so I wasn't going to achieve it without killing him. And I wasn't even, and once I realized it, I wasn't even really in a position with my giant to swing on him. I had nothing else. It was already, all the charges and everything had been done. So I was pretty much in a spot where it's like, I'm not going to get it. So huge mistake on my end with that one. And, it happens. Another small mistake I made was, if I would have had a little forethought, remember that the Vampire Lord's ability to give a unit an extra attack, that'll last until your next hero phase. So if I would have went ahead and just threw an extra attack on the Graveguard, they would have actually had an opportunity to, during his turn, get another attack on them. So they should have been swinging with 4 attacks each. Totally didn't think about that. A little play right there. And I was super confident when I had set up perfectly. I said, okay, he's going to obliterate the screen, and I'm going to be, 2 inches out with a Graveguard, but enough to pile in and be flush. And I was thinking, hey, I'm going to kill Vandus, and I'm going to kill that unit of Vindicators right there. I'm fixing to wipe them. I had Under a Killing Moon on and the extra attack. I was in the 9-inch range bubble to get the +1 to wound. And like I said, I don't think I rolled really poorly on that. It was just more a combination of, okay, I rolled okay. I didn't roll a ton of mortal wounds. It was probably only, like, for all those, I might have rolled 5 of all those attacks, mortal wounds, if that. It was just more of, like, he made a bunch of saves. He all out defensed his battle line, and they go to a 2-up save, and he was close enough to the point to have a 6-up shrug. So it was a 2-up save, goes to a 3-up save with a 6-up shrug. I'm doing 2 damage, so I'm sort of killing one for every failed, but he didn't roll that many 1s and 2s, so I only ended up taking out 5, putting a wounder here or there. I did a good amount of wounds to Bastion, except that he has that 4-up after save and just negated most of them. So after that combat, I was really surprised, like, wow, I did not expect to see that. So Soulblight players out there, just know, Stormcast is resilient, is very resilient. It's more resilient than it has been in the past, like I said. And things that you should be killing, it feels like I should be killing a lot easier, just aren't dying. Those armor saves are really, really good for those guys. Other than that, we did talk it out a little bit, and it was a very, very close game. It was almost another tied game. We were just sort of working out battle tactics. We played right up into the clock, and that was just us setting up, us being very monotonous in our play style and going through things. So lucky to get a win and a tie at this point. I came in saying, hey, I wanted 2 confident wins. Well, I got a tie and a very unconfident win so far. So I'm not meeting my personal goals and objectives. We are moving into round 3. I am paired up because I got that. I've got that half. I've got that tie. So I'm getting paired up to a 2-win opponent, and in striking distance to get, 2nd or 3rd place if I can get a couple battle tactics done. We'll see how it goes in game number 3. All right, I'm here playing Chris again. If y'all remember from Houston GT, he's playing his sons, except you're running Breaker Tribe today. Stomper Tribe today, trying out some different stuff. He's a 4-drop, I'm a 9-drop. We are playing Savage, and I'm deployed here. I've put 3 units in the grave, so the zombies and the Graveguard are in the grave, and I've sort of set up to go, hey, first turn charge me, see what happens, and you probably will. So, who's taking first turn?
I gotta measure out how far away you put those.
He's gonna check some stuff, so we're coming back in second. All right, big turn for Sons. He took the turn and basically just ran everybody up to take points. He threw a rock at the Vengorian Lord but failed to wound. He ended up scoring 11 total points because he took all the objectives, and so that's a big, big hole for me to dig out from. We will see what's happening. Yeah, probably I'm going to be playing for a double turn here because there's just really, I don't know. So you got lots of wounds you got to do these guys. So let's see what happens. So turn wasn't bad at all. I didn't score many points. I only scored 4. I was able to get off Mystic Shield, Clotted Deluge on the giant that was there. Basically ran these 3 units to get my battle tactic, and I took out his monster, his giant in the middle. So now we're going into a roll-off for turn 2. 5 to 1. Let me think about that, and we'll come back.
What's worse is...
Alright, so wrapping up my turn, I was able to make a charge with the Dire Wolves, the Giant, and the Vengorian Lord. Spell-wise, really all I got was Killing Moon and Mystic Shield. Clouded Deluge did not go off. I used my Triumph to get +1 to wound there. I only did what? What did I do? Like 14 wounds to him? This is the Ethereal Amulet one, but still, I just rolled kind of low on that. The Blood Knights failed their charge, and from a battle tactic, I took to put 2 units in his territory because that was the only one that was guaranteed for me, and I put my 2 zombies out of the grave to get my command. So I scored 2 for that and 1 for holding an objective. I scored a total of 3 this turn, going into Sun's turn 2. So this turn didn't go super great for me. Chris was able to push up, take out the wolves here with his 3d6 charge. He took out the Blood Knights. He also took, for your battle tactic, what'd you take?
Monstrous Takeover.
Monstrous Takeover for that point. I only put a couple more wounds back over here. He killed my Vengorian Lord. The only thing that happened good for me this turn was I rolled a 5 up to bring the wolves back, and they were actually able to grab that point. So that saved a little bit, but you still score 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe, right?
Score 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like killed the Vengorian Lord.
Yep, 10. So he killed the Vengorian Lord, so he got 10 that turn. Way ahead on points right now. So we're going to do a roll off to see who goes into turn 3. 4 to 4. I went first, so I'm going to keep the priority on that. Well, one of those turns. Graveguard did good. They came out here and they made a 9-inch charge and put like 19 wounds on this giant or something. They did pretty solid. I can't complain about what the Graveguard. In the return, he did 15 wounds. I didn't have a CP to save them. They died and melted. Here, this was my battle tactic, was to bring it down. He has 1 wound left on him. Once again, my Gatebreaker rolled 1s and 2s for like all his attacks. The zombies did 4 mortals. I mean, they almost did better than the Gatebreaker point for point. So that's where we're at. We're going into Chris's turn, and it's probably going to be game over because of we'll see where it goes, but I'm so far behind on points because not getting that battle tactic, I ended up only scoring 1, 2. I did take that point, 3, 4, so I scored 4 points this turn. Could have been 7 or 8, but that's the way it rolls. All right, so Chris wrapping up his turn.
One more point. You get 5 points for killing him.
So I was able to finally kill that mega off, and he killed the zombies back there. He killed the dogs over there. Took those 2 points back. And before that, let me double check and see if I can bring out either the Graveguard or the zombies that died. And they come out, so I'm going to place them, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, so on his turn, he took the roll, he took a turn, he went over here and killed my Vampire Lord and took my points again. He moved over here, his tactical objective was to kill my zombie, the Battalion unit. I got a 4 on a redeploy, and he failed the charge, but he still sit put. I did not bring anything out of the grave. Going to my turn, and I'm pretty much going to have to kill a Battalion or his Warlord. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, so my turn went pretty horrible. I went in and I killed him. This was my battle tactic, was to kill a battle line. And then yeah, he rolled his, was it a 4 up to bring him back from the artifact? Yeah. So he comes back, and then I'm like, okay, all I need to do is 1 wound to him. It was a total of 11 zombie attacks, and I didn't roll a single 6 out of 11 dice.
Roll your 5 up here.
Oh yeah, and then I didn't kill him. Did he technically die? Do I get a +1 for killing a unit? All right, so a 5. So somebody's going to come out, and I'll get a point over here. But other than that, yeah, we're just playing for battle tactics right now. Chris has got this wrapped up thoroughly. So let's see what happens for his last turn for his battle. Max points? Did you max points on that? Would you get all your... All right, so we wrapped sort of turn 4 and 5 up together because we run out of time. And it's like, really the writing's on the wall. We were pretty much just playing for battle tactics, and really what the final score ended up being was like 41 to 16 or 17. And then how many battle tactics did you get, Chris? Like 3, and I ended up getting 3 or 4. So, and I failed the battle tactic my last turn to kill him. Just a lot of bad rolling by my giant. Hopefully he gets hot in Austin or something. But yeah, it was good. It was good to play giants. I felt that the game was a little bit close. Maybe not points-wise it looked close, but I didn't get totally knocked off the board in 1 turn. So, not bad.
All right, so there's my final game of the day. It was kind of a rematch against Chris from Hammerfest GT, except he was playing different lists, but still Suns, and I'm playing not Zinch. The double turn was beautiful for me, and it put me in a position that if I would have done what I needed to, the game would have been probably a lot different. It would have been, I don't know if I'd have still won, but the points wise, it would have been a lot different. We talked about it after the game as far as any of the tactics that I did wrong. We did discuss putting the 3 units that I put in the grave and maybe just not putting 3 and just putting 2 if I'd put more on my center point, that he would have gave me first turn and maybe I would have got a point or something and not got so far behind. Then again, drawing him in like that gave me the ability to go take out one of his giants early, and on his turn or on my turn, and giving me the ability to do the double turn. What else I thought about later is I sort of had options to either go for his Warlord, the one with the 3d6 charge, or go for the Gatebreaker with the Ethereal Amulet. I chose the Gatebreaker because that was more scary to me for doing damage to my giant, and it was a little bit closer, like where everybody was lined up. I think it was easier for me to get over there. I don't know if that was a good, the right or wrong decision on that. I will say that if you notice that his great Gatebreaker, I think, was 3 rounds of combat with my Gatebreaker, Vangorian Lord, some wolves, and eventually a unit of 20 zombies. My zombie giant rolled pretty horrible all day. I mean, there was some times where he did okay, and you're looking at his rolls, and a lot of those times, I was buffing him up to be either a 2 or a 3 to hit and 2 to wound almost across the board, and it was still just rolling with lots of 1s and 2s. And not to say that hey, this is what all lost me the game, or this is what gave me those losses, but I kept going. Hey man, I'm a little under average here. So, like I said, I just keep hoping, hey, maybe next weekend that these dice average back out with him, because I put him in position to do what he was brought to do. Go knock out a giant, go knock out a big, a big scary, vampire lord and zombie dragon. Go knock out those high wounds, good armor save monsters or hero units. That's what I'm bringing him for. And he did it my first turn. The first turn I put like 30, well, not quite 30, it was like 28 wounds on his giant, and just the combination, I think the Vangorian Lord had to activate to finish him off, but I didn't even activate that first giant with the Blood Knights. He was pretty much taken out with my Gatebreaker. So I'm looking at that going, oh, okay, this is good. That's what he should be doing. He should be putting 25, 30 wounds on a mega, I think. And between everything else, you can wrap them up. And if you can kill a giant a turn, that's what you need. You got to kill a giant a turn. That's the only way you're going to win games against Suns if you're playing a good Suns player. Other than that, I did get lucky on some rolls. I was able almost every turn to bring a dead unit back, so that allowed me to at least put some more stuff out on the board, make him have to go back to the points and not just push forward. So that did save me from just basically getting table wiped a little bit earlier. But yeah, that was it, and it was nice to play Giants because it gave me a little bit more confidence, because I'm playing Chris, and Chris is one of the best Suns players out there. He makes good decisions. He plays well. He has well-crafted lists. So if I know I got destroyed on points, but I felt pretty good about this game going against Suns. Once again, I lost one, I won one, and I tied one. I didn't meet my personal objectives, which was 2 confident wins today. I got a I got a not so confident win, a tie that I was happy for, and a thorough beat down that I was actually more happy about how I did in that game than the other 2. So it is what it is. As far as changes for the list as we go on, I don't know. I think I'm going to look at spells one more time. I might take off Flaming Sword of the Vangorian Lord. It's pretty much where we're sitting, but we're at crunch time and we need to push forward. Also, in the description, guys, there's going to be the top 2 lists and all the opponents lists that I played. So if you're interested in something that they were playing with, you can check those out. Big shout out to Mr. Ratley, friend of the channel here. He was able to get first place, go undefeated with a Maggotkin of Nurgle featuring Archeon list that was pretty nasty. Pretty nasty list. So if you want to check out his list, get that final game in with the Sons of Nurgle and Archeon before they get their new book, please check out that. Give some shout outs and props to him. He did a great job. He has won 2 out of 4 of his last local tournaments. So he is carrying the channels on his shoulders right now. All right, that's all I got. Please, guys, leave comments. Tell me, the mistakes I made, point them out. Tell me some tactics that I missed. Tell me your thoughts on the list. Wish me some luck for next week because I think I'm going to need it. That being said, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.